10 secret World War II survival tricks so genius, soldiers were ordered never to reveal them. In the hellfire of World War II, survival wasn't guaranteed by rank or rifle. It came down to wits, the quiet, gritty kind that kept men alive when everything else failed. Soldiers didn't just fight the enemy. They fought hunger, disease, freezing nights, and the kind of exhaustion that makes every breath feel borrowed. And in that chaos, they discovered tricks so effective, so ingenious, the military kept many of them under wraps for decades. These weren't movie-style heroics. They were real, dirty, desperate methods of staying alive. And here's the twist. Many of them still work just as well today. Let's dig into the field's secrets that turned ordinary soldiers into survival masters. Lessons forged in fire, meant for anyone who values skill over comfort. The deadly red soap that saved more lives than bullets ever could. Out there in the trenches, disease killed faster than machine guns. Dysentery, typhus, trench foot, invisible enemies that chewed through armies. The saviour? A small, dark red bar called carbolic soap. It reeked of chemicals, but was a soldier's secret weapon. They used it not only to wash hands, but to disinfect wounds, sterilize knives, and even clean water containers. Losing a bar was like losing your rifle. It could mean days of sickness or worse. The candle stove that kept soldiers fed in silence. Fire was life, but in enemy territory, a visible flame was a death sentence. Soldiers hacked that problem with a bit of genius. They'd take an empty tin can, punch small holes around it, drop a candle inside, and voila! A kokokagiko, sako perm, kana mo no giston num vamabum come. It is trod trapped heat, blocked the wind, and gave off almost no light or smoke. The coffee trick that kept men human. Coffee wasn't just caffeine. It was morale in a tin cup. Soldiers reused grounds 2-3 times, stretching every bit of comfort they could. When supplies ran low, they roasted barley or chicory, mixing it in to keep the brew strong. It wasn't gourmet, but it kept hearts steady and hands from shaking. Bread as a filter when every drop of water counted. No clean water meant, well, death. But soldiers found a strange workaround: bread. They crumbled these dense, dark loaves into a cloth and poured muddy water through it. The bread acted as a filter, catching debris and sediment. Now, it didn't kill germs, but it made boiling or treating the water far safer afterward. Cigarettes that could buy your life. Even non-smokers carried them. In World War II, cigarettes weren't just vices. They were currency. One cigarette could buy food, medicine, or sometimes critical intelligence in occupied zones. They were also psychological tools. In tense moments, offering a smoke could calm an enemy, distract a guard, or buy a few precious seconds. The humble sewing kit that held everything together. Tucked inside every uniform was a tiny sewing kit, often overlooked until, well, it wasn't. Torn boots, repaired, ripped coat in sub-zero cold, stitched, broken mosquito net in the jungle, patched before malaria struck. And soldiers even used thread as fishing line or to secure wounds temporarily. Fire from rags when matches failed. In the mud, rain and cold of Europe and the Pacific, matches were, well, pretty much useless. Soldiers made their own fire starters by soaking strips of cloth in engine oil or animal fat and then storing them in tins. Even soaked, these rags would catch a spark and burn long enough to light damp wood. It was smelly, smoky, and honestly, just perfect. To this day, it's a survivalist's favourite hack, reliable, cheap, and immune to weather. Fire isn't about luxury. It's about life. Salt, the silent guardian of everything. Salt did far more than just season food. Soldiers rubbed it into meat and fish to preserve them in tropical humidity. They packed it into boots overnight to pull out moisture and prevent rot. They even treated leather gear with it to stop mold. In the jungle, salt wasn't seasoning. It was salvation. The bread button fix that proved nothing was useless. Uniform buttons popped off all the time. You know, a small problem, but with big consequences. Soldiers would roll wet bread into a ball, press it flat, poke 2 holes through the centre, and then dry it out in the sun. Once it was hardened, well, it worked just like a real button. The secret deck of cards that could save your life. Among the most fascinating wartime secrets was, honestly, just a simple deck of playing cards. Some decks were special issue. When you dampened them and peeled them apart, they revealed hidden maps of enemy territory printed inside. For prisoners of war, these cards weren't just games. They were escape tools. The brilliance of these World War II survival methods lies in more than the tricks themselves. It's really in the mindset, making do, adapting fast, and, well, never giving up. These weren't life hacks. They were acts of raw human ingenuity under fire. And honestly, they still hold up. The same tin can stove that warmed a soldier in 1944 can warm a camper today. The same salt trick that saved boots in Burma can save gear in a flood zone. In an age obsessed with technology, these stories remind us of the ultimate survival tool, the human mind. If this deep dive into forgotten fieldcraft got you fired up, make sure you subscribe to HistoryHQ, hit that like button, and share it with a fellow history enthusiast. Because, you know, the best lessons from the past aren't locked in books. They're hidden in the dirt, the trenches, and the quiet genius of those who refuse to die easy.